On behalf of the Buffalo Sabres and all of our great fans, we are proud to select from the University of Michigan, Owen Power.
Not a surprise, 6'6" tall. You can see the height right there. Great head of hair. Says he's going back to Michigan to play for the Wolverines. Jeff Gordon, if you drafted the #1 overall, would you want him in your organization now or to go back to college? What would be your opinion?
I think when you take the first pick overall, everything that goes along with it, you'd like to have him on your team right away. I understand the reason that he would go to Michigan. But, I always felt like if I sent Lafreniere back to Rimouski, that maybe they would have sent me there with him.
Not a bad place. Rimouski is French for Secaucus. Could he be as good as Victor Hedman, Sam? Well, that's a comp we're hearing.
Yeah, there are a lot of comparisons, and I think one of the main reasons why is because you're seeing a tall player who doesn't overexert himself physically, doesn't initiate the physicality, yet uses his body effectively to defend. So when you think about Hedman, he's a really difficult player to play against now, but you don't think of him like Shea Weber, that he's going to run you through the end boards. And I think Owen Power is going to grow into that and develop that part of his game a little bit more, but I don't ever think he's going to be that big banger and crasher. But man, this really can impact the organization. A 6'6" defenseman who skates like that, I mean, if you had to go out and acquire this in the free agent market, it would cost you a fortune, Seth Jones. Or if you had to,
$40 million signing bonus.
Or if you had to trade for it, Seth Jones.
$40 million.
It's costing you a lot.
Yeah.
And now you get this guy for free.
Hey, I couldn't agree more. I think here's one thing. We're talking about where Owen Power and how we project him. Let's take it all the way back. You saw what he did growing up. Obviously, you would have had a chance to see him play back home. He then goes to Chicago Steel, which is the unconventional route, but they have a great program. They just won the Clark Cup again. So he goes to Chicago Steel, plays there, lights it up there, goes to University of Michigan. For a freshman, I thought he lit it up too. You are on the college hockey beat. Then he goes to the men's worlds and says, hey, look out, NHL players. I can play here too. And as the tournament went along, ends up being a key piece of the gold. So from a progression standpoint, he might want to go back to Ann Arbor for one more year and hang on the campus. And they've got an amazing team. One of the best college teams ever assembled. But all that being said, he's played so much hockey and excelled at all these levels.
Yeah, Michigan is an absolute wagon. There were no fans. He didn't get the college experience last year. Frozen Four in Boston. Last time Michigan won a natty was in Boston. It could be a lot of fun for him. And then join the Sabres maybe in March or at the end of the year.
Well, the World Juniors, he didn't have the opportunity to go last year. It would have been 51 days gone from Mel Pearson's team. They couldn't afford that. So maybe that opportunity presents itself and, hey, you join at the end of the year. But that progression, there was a little bit of luck involved. Colin Miller got hurt. He got put up in a pairing with Troy Stetcher, and they couldn't take him off that second pairing. He was that good. By the end of it, he's playing all the high leverage minutes. Every important situation for Gerard Gallant there. To go 0-3 and then win a gold with that guy as a key piece, that says a lot.
#1 defensemen are extremely difficult to obtain. The Buffalo Sabres, by selecting Owen Power, they got a #1 defenseman. Superb sense, strong skills, superior size, the ability to command the game, to control the game in all the critical areas. I don't care if it's defense, I don't care if it's in transition or in the offensive zone. Owen Power excels. When you watch the recently completed NHL playoffs and you watch Victor Hedman be such a factor in the game, that's exactly what Owen Power delivers. This past season, he was able to meet every single challenge as those challenges increased and escalated. When he plays the game, there's a sense of calm in and around him. And when you look at having success in the National Hockey League, you need the critical superior positions to be covered off. Owen Power covers off that #1 defense slot. And when you combine them with Rasmus Dahlin, these are two really good defensemen that set the Buffalo Sabres up for success in the years to come.
Let's talk Seattle Kraken. We just had the expansion draft Wednesday night. Weeksy was there out there in Seattle chucking and catching fish. Still stinks. And there they are.
Alone tonight for you.
Ron Francis. He has plenty of options. From here, the draft, again, so many boards are so varied for team to team. This next 2 to 10, it really could go at a myriad of ways. But the name we keep hearing, Sam, as we look at the forward lines as they presently are constructed after the expansion draft, things could still change. But when you look at someone like a teammate of Owen Power, Matty Beniers, a lot of times an employer will hire somebody who reminds them of themselves. And Matty Beniers has a lot of Ron Francis in his game in every situation player.
Well, it was great when Weeksy came back and he said, yeah, I was talking to everybody there. He's the mayor here. He's the mayor everywhere. And he said, we want to create an identity. And how do you do that? You take a player like Matty Beniers, who is the representative of what a blue-collar town would be like. A guy who works both ends of the ice. A guy who's tall, good-looking dude. He has identity. He's extremely responsible. So this is the type of guy you're looking for.
The pick is in.
From the Space Needle in Seattle, General Manager of the Seattle Kraken, Ron Francis, will make the number 2 selection.
On behalf of Mr. David Bonderman and our entire ownership group, I'd like to thank the Commissioner and the 31 member clubs for welcoming the Seattle Kraken into the National Hockey League. And on behalf of our passionate fans, I'm proud to make a historical first ever amateur draft selection for our team by choosing from the University of Michigan, Matthew Beniers.
There it is. Matty Beniers. Big time, complete center, PK, matchup center guy. Could be a power play guy as well. And so the guy who many feel has a bit of Ron Francis in him, Kevin Weeks, is selected by Ron Francis.
Yeah, exactly. My former teammate Ron Francis, and had a chance to speak to him briefly, but with some of the other members of their brain trust there as well, and their senior executive leadership and some of the coaching staff, this team is doing everything so well off the ice so far. I was blown away by my time out there, and I had the feeling from speaking to them, if Beniers was still there, they were going to take him for all the reasons you said. Fellas, look, let's think about it this way, all right? If you look at the mold that he plays in a similar style, Jonathan Toews, he wins at everything. 3 Stanley Cups, Olympic gold, World Junior, huge in that World Junior. Same thing for Patrice Bergeron. That's where they met, in that World Junior. Been to 3 cups, won 1 for the Bees. Gortz, I know somebody like you would be able to sleep very easy with a center iceman like that.
Yeah, it's Hayes, Bergeron. Give me 50% of that and we'll take it, right? I think Ronnie Francis would say that. This he's a terrific player. He plays the whole sheet. It's well documented. This is a great selection, I think, for Seattle to start this off. The only thing that surprised me a little bit is that Weeksy didn't make the pick.
Exactly. You didn't record that the other night while you were there?
No, that wasn't me. Hey, listen.
Those pirated videos
I'll
on
give
Twitter.
You the Shaggy. Wasn't me.
Emily Kaplan will be with us all night long. She is in Columbus giving us Blue Jacket perspective. They got 3-1, but she's also there covering the NHL throughout. Emily.
Yeah, Ron Francis just called him Matthew, but he says that his name is Matty. He is not a Matt or a Matthew. That's just not his personality. His mom was actually a Broadway actress, and he once was a theater kid himself, now a bit more of an academic. He was committed to go to Harvard. Season was canceled, went to Michigan instead, studied pre-med and is interested in dermatology, loves the show Dr. Pimple Poppers. And Matty's a kid that struggles to put on weight. When he came back from Worlds, he weighed in at 168 pounds. So this summer, he really focused on gaining weight. It was like a full-time job. 5 to 6 meals a day, 5 to 6,000 calories a day. He can always go to his favorite restaurant, Chipotle. And guys, he's fully aware, walk is extra. Back to you guys.
Matty Ice is a Seattle Kraken. Was set to go to Harvard, a very high-achieving family.
Yes.
Mom went to Cornell. Ends up at Michigan. What are the Kraken fans who are watching tonight? Great ratings the other night. Kraken fans out there for the expansion draft. What are they getting, Matty Beniers?
They get the entire package. Mm-hmm. They get a kid who's got great character. They get a kid who can play, as you mentioned, the full sheet of the ice. But there are a couple of key moments that I was looking for throughout the course of the year. The first was at the World Juniors. And here's a guy who at the World Juniors looking defensively responsible right here. Yeah, now I'll take the puck and go. Anticipate the play, take it one-on-one into the zone. But at the World Juniors, he was used in high-leverage situations once again, taking key draws down the stretch. It doesn't typically happen for an underage player at that tournament, especially with the success that the U.S. had in winning that tournament. And then you think about, all right, he's a late birthday guy. The World say, why don't you come with us? And he didn't quite really catch pace there, played a couple minutes here and there, but the simple fact that they brought him tells me everything that they think about this young man. Unfortunately, he ended up getting hurt. But he can do a lot of different things. He can play both sides of the puck. He can score with some skill and bring that identity for a brand new franchise.
And we'll see if he returns to Michigan or decides to turn pro with the...
Matthew Beniers very well may be cut out of the same mold as Seattle Kraken GM Ron Francis. Hall of Famer Ron Francis. A superb two-way player. Center ice is his position, but he can play on the wing if needed. He's a player that helps everybody be at their best. He knows how to contribute to other players' games so that they can excel. And to the team, it doesn't matter where you put him. Penalty kill, power play, on the wing, in front of the net. He plays in all those critical situations. I've compared him to Vancouver Canucks captain Bo Horvat. Others have compared his game to that of Jonathan Toews. All I can say is that is massively impressive. And when you start a franchise with a player that can contribute and play in the manner of Matthew Beniers, that is one heck of a beginning.
From the Honda Center, with fans on the arena floor, the Anaheim Ducks selection, number 3, will be made by Executive Vice President and General Manager Bob Murray. Bob, you're up.
The Anaheim Ducks are proud with the 3rd pick of the 2021 draft. Happy and excited to draft from the Peterborough Pete's hockey team, Mason McTavish.
All right. No relation to Craig. I'm sure many of you are asking that the first question out of your mouths. But, boy, it's tough to pass up on a big, thick center. This guy really came out of nowhere. He shot up the draft board, Sam.
He sure did. And I think about a couple of recent Bob Murray picks. And I think about Max Jones, plays with some belligerence. I think about Max Comtois, who has a little bit of that with goal-scoring ability. And I think Mason McTavish is very much along those lines. When you go back to looking at his rookie year, 16 years old, Rob Wilson says, hey, son, you're not going to play center where you played minor hockey. You're going to the wing. And what did he do? He scored 29 goals there. As a 16-year-old, really difficult. Manipulating the blade angle, in close. He can shoot from distance as well. And then he went over to Switzerland because the OHL didn't play. And he asserted himself against men and said, hey, I can do this. And he felt like he was chomping at the bit to get back to the under-18s to say, I'm going to destroy the competition here. Dave Barr puts him at center ice, his natural position. He wins 60% of his draws. He continues to score. He goes to the net. He's making plays. He's showing off leadership. This guy is a warrior, and no question that Bob Murray's sitting there saying, I got another Max Comtois here, but maybe additional to what Max has already brought to the table as he had that turnaround year.
Power forward.
Yeah, pretty good compliment to Zegras, too. If they get Zegras to the middle and McTavish, a nice little blend of some finesse and some power down the middle. A pretty good selection here.
I love that. I love your point about that duo, having that little combination. Yeah. Those guys running little short plays off the cycle in the offensive zone. And listen, as the games went along, he got better and better. And I love the power that he showed. People don't recognize he was born in Switzerland, by the way, so people don't recognize that. That's, to your point, how he was able to go over and play in the Swiss second division and played very well. He asserted himself, but he can beat goalies. I saw a lot of tape on him, beating goalies from distance, slinging that wrister from behind him. He has an NHL shot and body right now. I love his game.
He's ripped. He's absolutely ripped, this guy. His brother's an MMA fighter. I think he's got a fight in Montreal tomorrow night, so he's probably been working out with his brother. And you might be fooled, he's got the round hair going and the curls. Don't be fooled. This guy's ripped, and he's a power forward extraordinaire.
Mason McTavish is a heavy two-way centerman, something the Anaheim Ducks can absolutely use in their system. They need help in the offensive ranks, and at the center ice position, Mason McTavish fills a real big void there. Dave Barr, who coached Mason McTavish at the U18 championship in April of 2021, compared Mason McTavish's game to that of Ryan O'Reilly. And that is a comparison that not only will draw lots of admiration, but that's an important quality to have in your game. He can shoot the puck, and he has a lethal shot. He's also so competitive on the puck, whether it be in the offensive zone or whether it be in the defensive zone. And that presence in the middle of the ice, the real high-end intelligence to know what to do with the puck, to do without the puck, and to impose himself on opponents. Those are significant elements for a player. And when you're trying to compete, you need players like Mason McTavish, like Ryan O'Reilly, the 2019 Conn Smythe Trophy winner. For the Anaheim Ducks, this is just a pick that really solidifies the center ice position and adds to the forward group.
It's great to see everybody here finally live at the Prudential Center. I want to thank all our staff behind me for all their tireless work they've put in this last 2 years. With the 4th overall pick, the New Jersey Devils are proud to pick from the USA Development Program, Luke Hughes.
There it is. Remember, he sustained that lacerated tendon in his foot in March. He got cut by a skate. He missed the 2021 U18s on his way to Michigan to join that star-studded cast. So he'll have plenty of insulation around him in terms of talent and obviously driven personalities to work on his game and be on a team that's really going to be thinking about a championship. And yeah, they are pumped, aren't they, to have 2 brothers on the same team. That saves a lot of airline miles, I imagine, Jeffrey.
What an opportunity to play with his brother, too. To walk into the NHL and some bragging rights over one brother and maybe not over the other, right?
Yeah.
I think the only downside to this deal is there's no more Hughes brothers, right? And
factory.
Yeah. But no, this is a special time, obviously, for the Hughes family, and it's a pretty high-end caliber player to add with his brother.
I love to see the joy.
Jack from his so pumped. Jack is so pumped.
So jacked.
There's so many families have these jealousies and these fights, and you can see the pure love. They're so happy for their brother. Man, that's the best.
That's powerful stuff right there. Powerful stuff.
I go back to watching him at Little Caesars playing for Brian Smolinski there in the U16s, and you could tell that he was a little bit gear on skates at that point, and his game has just grown by leaps and bounds. Jeff, you talked about that trajectory, and you think that with him being one of the younger players of the elite in this draft class, that trajectory is going to continue on that 45-degree angle. So the ceiling is massive for this guy. You know, what's interesting about him is the fact that he played a large portion of the season on his offside.
Yeah.
So now, when he transitions to the National Hockey League, that's not going to be a surprise for him. Right-handed defenseman, always difficult to come by. This left shot can play the right side as well. That's that added value for the player. But here's some of the things that he does similar to what his brothers do. Extreme amount of confidence with the puck to do anything at any time. There's Quinn Hughes. Oh, yeah, I'm the last guy. Little dipsy-do, no problem. I'll take it into the zone. I'm not worried about being backed up. I'm confident with the puck. All right, well, Luke Hughes, I'm going to do a little bit more of the same thing. No problem. Get it down to the middle of the ice. Hey, Jack Hughes, this looks familiar. All right, I'm going to cut it back towards the middle of the ice. Yep, dish it off. That's a snipe in the back of the net for the New Jersey Devils. So the foundation for all of the Hughes brothers is based on that great skating ability, their edge work, their ability to turn on a dime. That mobility is simply fantastic. It works well in today's transitional game. The other part is that confidence with the puck, the ability to do anything with the puck at any time. They've all competed against one another, so it's always going against that high level of competition within the family. The youngest guy, Weeksy,
Exactly.
always has to fight for the toughest
Always,
one.
totally, no question about it. Listen, I love the fact that he's a two-way defenseman. He's gifted enough offensively to make plays and generate offense. He can beat a forecheck himself. He can activate in the offensive zone like a forward. But defensively, he also wants to match up. He also wants to defend. He wants to kill penalties. He wants to do these things and be more of an overall defenseman. But what a time for their family. I remember Gortz being just up the road at the Prudential Center when we unveiled his brother as the 1 overall pick. And this is awesome stuff for them.
Yeah, incredible. The thing about the Hughes family, the kids, is they all look 15, so it tells me that there's room for growth. They're so good and so talented, but lots of room for growth. As a general manager, you don't want a guy with a full beard showing up at your table. So.
And I'm, like I said, I'm pumped. He's playing college hockey this year at Michigan, Frozen Four in Boston. Quinn brought Michigan to the Frozen Four, didn't quite get the job done, and maybe his brother Luke can help bring them to that championship they've been looking for now for a while.
Luke Hughes joins older brother Jack Hughes in New Jersey. Luke is a really strong two-way defenseman, excellent skater, and he uses that skating defensively to close on opponents. Great leverage in holding position and taking away advantages from those opponents. The skating is so good that there's no question he can get into the transition game. And in the offensive zone, he may not put up the big offensive numbers, but he knows who to get the puck to and when to get them the puck so offensive opportunities can ensue. When I watch Luke Hughes play, I see a lot of what Morgan Riley delivers for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And when you're looking at that type of defenseman that can play in all the critical situations and deliver, that is an important element to have. Jersey boys, Jim and Ellen Hughes, have 2 favorite teams now, not 3, with Luke going to the New Jersey Devils.
But now one of the big stories after the Michigan men, who now go 3 of the first 4, is the Columbus Blue Jackets. We know they have 3 picks. After the big Seth Jones trade today, they picked 5th. This is the slot they had. They also picked 12th. That's Chicago's slot. That's the pick they got in the Seth Jones trade. They switched then that 32nd pick. Chicago now has the 32nd pick. Columbus also picks 25th. So, Jeff, this is interesting. You got 3 picks in the first round. Do you take the guy you want the most or the best player?
I think you take the guy that's going to be the best again.
Knowing you have 12 right behind you. Do you forecast selections, or is that dangerous?
I think that's a little dangerous. That's a little tough of a spread. Here, this high of a pick, I think you're going to take the guy that's going to be the best over time. They have a number of picks. Let's reset it. If we're the Columbus Blue Jackets, let's get the best player here, and let's go back to work and see what's next at our next pick.
Yeah, and listen, traditionally they've struggled to score. Right, they've had some outstanding defense. Of course, Seth Jones ended up departing now. We'll see where this takes us, Bucci.
Well, Simon Evanson, a big defenseman, could replace Seth Jones. They could take that right now. Gary Bettman, introduce Columbus, please.
With the 5th pick, the Columbus Blue Jackets from Nationwide Arena will present John Davidson, the president of hockey operations. JD, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary. On behalf of our ownership group, led by John McConnell, our staff, coaches, and players, I want to thank all the great fans here tonight at Nationwide Arena. Thank you. 5th line, it's great to see you again. To make our first pick in the 2021 National Hockey League Draft, I would like to introduce a great and longtime fan of the Blue Jackets, an Ohio guy, a former captain of the Ohio State Buckeyes, and one of the best broadcasters in the business, ESPN's own Kirk Street.
JD, how are you, man? I wish I could be there. I know how the 5th line can get fired up, and some great memories in that arena. And I get back as often as I can, and looking to get back even more this year coming up. But I know it's great to have you back, part of the organization, and helping us rebuild and look forward to trying to get back to the postseason. Exciting time. This young man's name I'm about to read is about to play for the most passionate and loyal fan base, I think, in the NHL. So with the 5th pick in the 2021 NHL Draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets select center Kent Johnson, University.
Wow. This guy is sick. He had some SportsCenter top 10 highlights last year. He's got an elite brain. Those highlights reminded me of Patrick Kane of a couple times, and he's 6'1", real slight, not ready yet. He's got to get in the weight room, do some squats and lunges and deadlifts. But, man, this guy can be dirty at times, Sam.
Of all the people in this draft class, he is within the top 3 most dynamic players. And it goes back to his BCHL year with the Trail Smoke Eaters, put up 101 points, and he was the guy who was named the top forward. Look at some of the stuff this guy's thinking about. No problem, I'll go behind him. That little lacrosse goal, hey, don't worry about it. Yeah, in tight, I can do that too. But hey, there's not an opening. I'm just going to spin around here, go to the backhand, lift it upstairs. Oh my gosh, the poise with all these people all over. And this goal, I absolutely love. Against Minnesota. Backhand, right from the goal line. Hello. My goodness. In his under 15 year, this guy was 4'11". There was a couple of rides at the amusement park.
4'11"?
He couldn't even get on the rides at the amusement park. But you know what? He's 6'1" now, skinny. His eyes are single file. But you know what? Like you said, he's going to go to the weight room, eat a little pasta. He'll be ready to rock and roll. Almost a point per game for Mel Pearson this year at the University of Michigan. And they're killing it right now, the Maize and Blue.
Chicken parm 5 nights a week.
Exactly.
First time ever, 3 of the top 4 picks
Historic.
playing college hockey.
Historic. Plus 16 rating, too. So let's not undervalue the fact that he was a plus player with all the offensive gifts that he has. But perhaps when he was playing in the BCJ back up in BC for the Trail Smoke Eaters, you just showed one of them. He scored 2 Michigan goals, maybe foreshadowing a little bit Mike Legg, what we saw from Mike Legg at Michigan, and the fact that he's going to go there. But this guy's instant offense, my sweat towel, we got the temperature controlled in here. It's now a rally towel.
Little James Brown.
It's a rally, yeah, totally. It's a rally towel because I thought some people may have been a little bit traditional, Gortz. You can take this over. We don't know the flash, the skill. We don't know. I think this guy is both the steak and the sizzle for me.
Well, high-end skill. We all see that. That has to be tantalizing as you're sitting there with that pick. And he could be the best player of all. Like, we've seen some of the things he can do. It's pretty magical. Interesting to have a Ohio State guy announce the Michigan guy.
Oh, he had to. He had to.
I didn't miss that.
Oh, Gortz. Way to go.
Kent Johnson completes a trifecta of Michigan Wolverines in the top 5 picks. The Columbus Blue Jackets benefit from Kent Johnson's creativity, his imagination. I see him as similar in style to Vancouver Canucks centerman Elias Pettersson. That ability to see plays that maybe others don't, to be patient with the puck, to allow plays to develop. And when I watch Kent Johnson play, he starts with a blank canvas and he will try to figure out, okay, where do I want to fill in here? What do I want to paint in that corner of the canvas? But make no mistake about it, Kent Johnson has the magic hands. He's got the great imagination and the creativity to match. And when you watch him play, much like Elias Pettersson, they make things happen out of seemingly nothing. And when you add that type of creativity, and certainly his skill level, it's a real bonus for the Columbus Blue Jackets as they look to try to build up to be a real good contender and replace some of the skill they've lost in recent seasons.
With the 6th pick in the 2021 NHL Draft, the Detroit Red Wings are proud to select
from Frölunda, Sweden, defenseman Simon Edvinsson.
Simon Edvinsson, 6'4", elite skating defenseman, just too good to pass up. And when Steve Yzerman selects Edvinsson, there is no way he can't look at Edvinsson and not see some similarities to Victor Hedman, who he knows very well from his time with the Lightning. Simon will step into the NHL and be one of the best skaters from day one. It doesn't matter where you put him. The pivoting, the fluidity, the lateral quickness. He closes on opponents so quickly. He beats pressure. He can create a little bit of space for himself where he can make the play. And he sees those plays coming out of the defensive zone that spring you and get you moving forward and onto the attack. In the offensive zone, he might not be a top-notch offensive player, but he understands what he needs to do when the puck is on his stick. Get it through, get it to the net, get it to spots on the ice, to players that might be able to attack and be able to finish a little bit better. But this is a defenseman that reminds me so much of Ryan McDonagh, another player that Steve Yzerman traded and has had massive success with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You look at Moritz Seider on the right side, Simon Edvinsson on the left side, you're setting up for a top pair that is going to be really strong.
The San Jose Sharks are proud to select from Djurgården, Sweden, William Eklund.
William Eklund has a striker's mentality. He sees openings and he knows not only where those openings are, but when to get there. And he's quick to get there. You know, when you look at NHL comparables, I look at a different comparable for William Eklund. Lionel Messi is arguably the best goal scorer that's ever played soccer on the planet. And when you watch him play, not the biggest of guys, he's not one of these players with blazing speed. That's William Eklund. That's the mentality he has. Is he going to be as good a goal scorer as Lionel Messi? No. But to try to put him in the type of light where you look at a player and watch how he plays. He's quick in his feet, he's quick in his hands, he's quick in his mind. And for the San Jose Sharks to add that element of skill, I've heard comparisons to Henrik Zetterberg, the great Detroit Red Wing player. I see him a lot like Sebastian Aho. Well, Aho, Zetterberg, striker's mentality like Lionel Messi, I don't care how you cut it, that's a good player.
With the 8th pick in the 2021 NHL Draft, the LA Kings are proud to select from the Barrie Colts of the OHL, Brandt Clarke.
Brandt Clarke, when the puck's on his stick, there is no play that he doesn't think he can make. And more times than not, a lot more times than not, he makes those plays. The imagination, like Erik Karlsson, the boldness to jump into the attack, to get right in front of an opponent's net, to take advantage of offensive opportunities. He takes the game and he plays it forward. He doesn't predetermine anything. So if he doesn't predetermine anything, how do you know what he's going to do? That is the brilliance of Brandt Clarke. Going to the LA Kings, what an opportunity for him to be an understudy to the great Drew Doughty. And Drew Doughty's going to love trying to educate and show Brandt Clarke the tools of the trade, so to speak. Let me tell you this, Brandt Clarke will be a sponge and will soak it all up.
The Arizona Coyotes are proud to select from the Edmonton Oil Kings, Dylan Guenther.
Dylan Guenther is a well-balanced, silky smooth, skilled winger. He can score goals. He can set up plays that create those scoring opportunities. He can play in a high-tempo, fast-paced game. He can play in a tight-checking, grinding type game. He knows how to carve out space for himself. He's going to attack inside the dots. He's going to attack to the scoring areas. He's going to attack at defenders. He can kill penalties. And when you put it all together, you get this sublimely skilled player that is able to contribute in so many different areas. He's no one-trick pony. And as the Arizona Coyotes embark on a reset rebuild, the skill of Dylan Guenther and his potential is really significant. High-end players like Dylan Guenther are not easy to come by.
The Ottawa Senators are proud to select. Les Sénateurs d'Ottawa sont fiers de choisir. From the USA National Team Development Program, Tyler Boucher.
Tyler Boucher to the Ottawa Senators. And watching Tyler Boucher play, I see a lot of similarities to Montreal Canadiens right winger Josh Anderson. That ability to power, that ability to impose himself. Really good skater, and he is aggressive. He gets the puck into those areas where when he's on the move, he is really difficult to deter. When you look at the Ottawa Senators prospects, they have a lot of the critical areas covered off. Type of player that Tyler Boucher is, and the qualities and attributes that he delivers in the game, they don't have that within their prospect cupboard or on any of the shelves. And so when you look at Tyler Boucher, he's going to need time to develop and mature, but he brings elements that, after just watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, you know that they're critical to success. The Ottawa Senators are moving towards that period of time where they feel they can have success. A player that rounds out another group of skilled players, two-way players, but you're trying to be a complete team. Tyler Boucher delivers on that.
The Columbus Blue Jackets are proud to select from Sioux Falls Stampede, the USHL, Cole Sillinger.
There you go. There's Mike Sillinger.
The Calgary Flames are proud to select with our first pick in the 2021 NHL Draft from the Clark Cup champion Chicago Steel, Matthew Coronado.
Matthew Coronado to the Calgary Flames. I see him as the best goal scorer in this draft. They call him the Bison, and this Bison has horns, I'll tell you, because he is hungry to score. He wants to get to the net. He's got that elusive quickness where all he needs is just a little bit of space, a half a second of time, and he frees his hands brilliantly. But it's not just about freeing his hands. It's about freeing himself, getting open at the right times. And he does not allow himself to be denied. When you see him play, you see this high energy, really hungry offensive player that is celebrating the ability to score. And he does it as well as anybody in this draft. And as I said at the outset, I see him as the best goal scorer in this draft. Goal scoring is at a premium. The Calgary Flames just got a premium player.
The Buffalo Sabres are pleased to select from Leksand in the Swedish Hockey League, Isaac Rosen.
Isaac Rosen, Isak Rosen.
With the 15th pick, Detroit selects from the Western Hockey League's Edmonton Oil Kings, Sebastian Cossa.
As his goalie, 17-1-1.
The New York Rangers are proud to select from the Flint Firebirds, Brennan Othman.
St. Louis selects from Rimouski, Zachary Bolduc.
The Winnipeg Jets are proud to select from USA Hockey National Team Development Program, Chaz Lucius.
Chaz Lucius, selected by the Winnipeg Jets, one of the very best goal scorers in the 2021 NHL draft. And he's a multi-dimensional goal scorer. He can score from 35, 40 feet, but he also can score in tight. And he's got terrific hands. He knows how to open up a goaltender and to open up the net. And when that opening occurs, he has the hands to be able to finish. One of the things that Chaz, and it's completely developmental, is finding just a half a step of quickness. Because when you can score from distance, now defenders have to get out on you to try to deny you. You find that half a step of quickness, and now they have to be concerned about you going by them. That keeps them off balance. And because Chaz is such a smart goal scorer, he'll recognize where those openings are, and with a really good, strong, accurate shot from distance, a little bit of quickness, he can be a player that creates a lot of headaches for opponents and defenders. There's no question that given time, he will improve on that quickness, but you're looking at a significant goal scorer and a real strong offensive player for the Winnipeg Jets.
The Nashville Predators are drafting from Toyota in the MHL in Russia. The Predators are proud to select Petr Svechkov.
There you go.
With the 20th pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, the Minnesota Wild are proud to select Jesper Wallstedt from Luleå.
Well, that's a combination of heartbreaking and classy. Exactly. Right there to see those four children.
The Boston Bruins are proud to select from Luleå, the Swedish Hockey League, Fabian Lysell.
Edmonton Oilers select from Shawinigan of the Quebec Junior League, Xavier Bourgault.
There you go. Pay those Port Rush dues, Kenny.
Xavier Bourgault to the Edmonton Oilers. Reminds me a lot of Jean-Gabriel Pageau with his ability to dial into the competitive areas of the game, the areas that are really hard that he doesn't shy away from in any respect. He's quick, he's fast with his mind. He's so smart in understanding where he can take advantage offensively, take advantage defensively. A really, really strong two-way player. And as he's become more physically mature and stronger, he's now able to attack better. He's able to get a little bit more separation from defenders. He's able to open up a little bit of space. He's able to give himself a little bit more time. But this is not a player that plays on the outside edges of the game. Where it's hard, where it's demanding, Xavier is invested in those areas. And, you know, you watch the brilliance of Patrice Bergeron with the Boston Bruins over a long period of time, and there's not going to be another player like Patrice Bergeron. But Xavier Bourgault, in terms of his style of game, the type of game that he plays, the way he thinks the game, let's call him a lowercase Patrice Bergeron with the intensity of Jean-Gabriel Pageau.
The Dallas Stars are proud to select from Windsor of the Ontario Hockey League, Wyatt Johnston.
Family is pumped.
The Florida Panthers are proud to select from the Chicago Steel of the USHL, Mackie Samoskevich.
Another Michigan Wolverine, Mackie Samoskevich, a tight-knit family from Newtown, Connecticut.
With the 25th pick in the 2021 NHL Draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets select defenseman Corson Ceulemans from Brooks of the AJHL.
With the 26th pick in the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, the Minnesota Wild are proud to select Carson Lambos from the Winnipeg Ice.
It's a good-looking family right there, those Curvers kids doing a great job.
From Halifax in the Quebec Major Junior League, the Nashville Predators are proud to select Zachary Leroux.
On behalf of our entire organization, we'd like to welcome from HV 71, Sweden, Oscar Olausson.
All right.
The New Jersey Devils are proud to select from the Sudbury Wolves, Chase Stillman.
From the Gatineau Olympic of the Canadian Hockey League, the Vegas Golden Knights are proud to select Zach Dean.
There we go, two-way player. Grandpa Bob was inducted into the Newfoundland Hall of Fame.
With our 31st pick overall in the NT draft, the Montreal Canadiens are proud to select the Knights de London défenseur Logan Mailloux.
Friday, Lindsay, as you know, is a day that so many people look forward to. Young guys finally getting their dreams realized as they make it to the big stage. But the night ended with a lot of disappointment and confusion as to what the Montreal Canadiens were doing.
Absolutely. And it's all concerning Logan Mailloux, a defenseman with the OHL's London Knights. He had put out a statement earlier this week on social media renouncing himself from the draft after he was charged last year in Sweden for taking and distributing a photo without consent during a sexual encounter with an 18-year-old woman. Despite a statement, late Friday night, the Montreal Canadiens selected Mailloux with the 31st pick in the entry draft. Mark Bergevin spoke about the decision.
As an organization, it's very unacceptable, but also it's a young man that made a terrible mistake. To be able to be sincere, remorseful, apologetic to the family, that what we did was a terrible mistake, and it's not something that will ever happen again. Obviously, we something that we do believe.
The Canadiens released the following statement, sharing, quote, by drafting prospect Logan Mailloux with the 31st overall pick, the Montreal Canadiens organization not only selected a promising hockey player, but also a young man who recently admitted to making a serious mistake. The Canadiens are aware of the situation and by no means minimize the severity of Logan's actions. Logan understands the impact of his actions. His recent public statement is a genuine acknowledgement of his poor behavior and the first step on his personal journey. We are making a commitment to accompany Logan on his journey by providing him with the tools to mature and the necessary support to guide him in his development. We're also committed to raising awareness among our players about the repercussions of their actions on the lives of others. For his reaction to the story, we're joined now by Craig Button. Craig, what do you think of the Montreal Canadiens' decision to select Logan Mailloux?
I am absolutely shocked, Lindsay, and no expression of disappointment could be strong enough for this selection. It's a callous disregard for the victim who has already gone through enough. And we heard from Logan Mailloux, and if we take him at his word that being drafted in the National Hockey League is a privilege, and that he did not earn that privilege or that right, and he needed to demonstrate over the course of the next year that he could rehabilitate and become more mature to earn that privilege, and thus did not want to be selected. He asked teams not to be selected. So if we do take him at his word, the Montreal Canadiens clearly did not do that. Now, the Montreal Canadiens in their statement expressed how they were going to help Logan on his journey to support him. Well, what about the journey of healing for the victim? Because quite frankly, Lindsay, this pick, there is no rationale for it. It's disrespectful. It shows a complete disregard for the victim and for the player's wishes to demonstrate greater maturity. And for the Montreal Canadiens, this is something that there is simply nothing that can be acceptable in making this selection.
Craig, as always, appreciate the valuable insight. We'll talk to you later on in the show with more on the entry draft.
With the 32nd overall pick in the 2021 NHL entry draft, the Chicago Blackhawks are proud to select from the Prince Albert Raiders, Nolan Allen.